What's up? What's up, everyone? Um, I was going to do, I was gonna do one before, like before before 7, but I completely lost where I was at, so I had to basically look for another one. I'll probably be making more of these, most likely, just so then that doesn't happen, because I don't know where it went. It just completely did not, like, it just stopped existing all of a sudden. So, but yeah, for today we got there's a lot of things that people don't think about that are normal in a relationship. What are they? I got you. And then normalizations in a relationship that aren't talked about. And I picked out a bunch. Well, I picked out a bunch that I myself have seen and heard, and even in my own relationship, is not. It's like kind of stuff that you realize and whatnot. So I want to say there's 9 of them. I think. Yeah, there's 9 of them. So I'm gonna read the beginning part, and then I'm gonna read basically the one I came up with, and then the one I thought of, and then what I wrote for it, and then I'll talk about it. So we're gonna do it like that. Other than me having to read all 9 of them and then talk about them individually, we'll just do it like that and just kind of go down through everything. But the title is the title is normalizations in a relationship that aren't talked about. And then I wrote this something that I've seen, if not on social media or in the actual world, is that a lot of people are so focused on everything being perfect that some things that are generally normal in a relationship aren't talked about much. And they are, and now we get into it. So, the first one is you won't always like your partner. And I said, relationships go through seasons. You can have ups and downs. There may be some critical issues you differ on. There may be moments where you don't like your partner but you love them. Learning to self-regulate, self-soothe, and communicate in a constructive way is necessary to ride this out. Which is true. Is very true. It's it's one of those things where you won't always. I'm not gonna tell you. I'm not gonna say that you're always gonna love the person you're with. I'm not. I'm not because it's unless you're just like someone that's very like submissive and doesn't really care as long as you're being told what to do and you're fine with whatever they say for you to do, then obviously you're gonna love that person all the time. But even with relationships like that, they do have they do get to their breaking point at some point. Everyone has a breaking point. So even if this person is like that, is super submissive and all this jazz, is the fact that there's a certain point. There's either a certain point or a certain action that is taken for them to basically break. But if you're not in a relationship like that, then there's the fact of you're not gonna always like your partner. You're not. But I feel like liking and loving someone is two completely different things. Like I like pizza, but I fucking love noodles. like it's like a step up. Like they're both the same, but in the sense they're different. But the fact that there are gonna be days where you're gonna wake up and you're just gonna be like, man, I don't like this person at all. You know? But it's the fact of like, what about it do you not love? Like, is there a certain thing? And it's like you don't like them, but in your heart, do you love them? Because like something that always helped me and still does, even to this day, is the fact of if you feel like you don't, if you feel like you don't like or love somebody, like if you feel like you don't like or love your partner anymore, think about if they were to pass the next day, literally the next day, how would that make you feel? Genuinely, how would that make you feel if they just, they just, bit the bullet all of a sudden, just one day, and you got that call the next day? How would you feel? Because it's the fact of it's more of a like a mental thing because it's like that feeling that we talked about before. It's more or less something that feeling is kind of gone. That rush is like gone, you know, because it's a rush to talk to someone else, see them, this, that, and the other, do a bunch of different things with them. But eventually, when you've done everything, or maybe not everything, but you've done basically what satisfies that feeling, you just kind of just like just kind of goes it kind of just goes down because you're just like, well, that feeling is gone, so I must not like that person anymore, or I might not like that person, or I might not love that person anymore. But we've talked about how it's a choice than it is a feeling. We've been over that, but yeah, that's where communication kind of comes in because it's just like it's the fact of like you don't just wake up and you don't like everything about a person or you don't love everything about a person. Like most people wake up and there's a certain thing that person is doing over and over and over again, or something that they're doing but they're not aware of. So it's the fact that that's where the whole you know communication is steps in because you actually talk to that person about like what they're doing, or get them to stop doing whatever it is that you don't like them to do, you know, and explain why and all that jazz, because no one can read each other's mind. We're not a hive mind. We're not a hive mind. We're not a I don't even know what other what other what you call it actually can read each other's mind. We're not psychics. None of that. We're regular human beings. We cannot read each other's minds. So it's one of those things where it's just like definitely let your partner know what it is that is bothering you and why. Not don't just say just because for some people that doesn't like you want me to change this just because what that doesn't make any sense. Because you have to keep in mind that there are other people in their life that have also said, "Oh, change this just because." And sometimes people don't want to change it just because it's just like, why am I changing this just because? That's because you said me, just because you told me to. But why? Generally, why? What's a word that is like used the most. I feel like because everyone wants to know why this, why that, why, just why. So it's the fact that give them that why, because it's like, I tell you why most people say why because they know they're probably not going to get a response, and it's the fact that it's better to say why then than not to, and then when you separate or you do this, and then that's when you say the reason why, and then the other person basically is just like, you didn't say that in the beginning, you just said to change it just because. But now that all this is happening, now you want to tell me why, other than telling me before, and it would have been taken care of. But yeah, just don't communicate it, because you're not gonna always like your partner. You're not. You're really not. It's not something that's just like. It's not something that. It's something that can happen, but there are definitely more days that you like your partner than you don't. I'm not saying that you won't like your partner for like months or years at a time, but I'm telling you, there are a couple of days where it's just like, man, I don't like you at all, you know. Like, I don't like you. I don't want to be next to you right now. There are times like that where it does happen, but it's not. It's not saying that it's and it's the fact that it might not be a you issue. It could be it could be something at work, or it could be something that's happening in their you know family life with their parents or their siblings or something. It could be like a coworker, or you know someone someone that's a part of their family or their relationship. It's the fact that it could be anything, but it's the fact of like they don't they don't like you simply because, not because they don't care for you, but they don't like you because there's just so much going on, and they just kind of can't like they just kind of can't deal with so much going on at one time, you know. But yeah, but number two, sex is not always going to be like the movies. You don't always have to. You don't always have to break the bed and you don't have to be breaking the bed and doing it in public. It's normal for couples to have a period of high and low intimacy levels. There are there are a lot of there are a lot of factors that like health, stress, lifestyle, habit that can cause this. This is a sign to track, but not always an immediate red flag. Yeah. Yeah, it's not like the movies. I know everyone has seen movies when it's just like, oh, like this person is just giving them the business. It's not like that. It doesn't have to be like that all the time. And even then, it's just like when it comes to certain things, when it comes to certain things, it's just like when it comes to certain things, it's better it's better to what like how do I how do I just how do I talk about this? I don't really know. Hmm. I wrote so much, so I'm just like it's normal. The normal part is it's normal to have high and low, like it's normal to have a high or low, like basically like intimacy level, basically. Like it's one of those things where it's just like it doesn't always have to be high all the time. But it's definitely one of those things to remember because if it is high all the time, and then a couple like days, not even a couple of days, but like a couple of months later, it's a lot lower. You know, your partner will probably ask questions about it or have be suspicious since it's like mainly all of these are basically meant for like communication. If I'm being generally honest, because with that whole thing, you can basically just talk to your partner and be like, yeah, this is going on. I'm thinking about this, this, and this. Da 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 da. It's just like it's one of those things where it can be solved with just basically talking to each other. But it is definitely something that's normal that most people don't really take into account, which is weird if I'm being honest, because it's just like it's not intimacy isn't something that is like the movies. It's not like it, like it's the fact that it shouldn't be. Like that's the thing. Like it's the fact that that's not something that should always be the case all the time. Like it's the fact it's normal to just do your own thing, not do your own thing, but like you two do your own like whatever it is, and it's the fact that it doesn't have to be like the movies or like adult entertainment or something like that's not like it doesn't have to be that. It's the fact that it's you and your significant other, and that's it. Like it just shouldn't be there shouldn't be any other factors in that. It should just be you and them, and that's it. We talked about this shit yesterday. We talked about this shit yesterday. That's why I fucking put it in here. But you will want to be alone. People need personal space and alone time. Just because you're in a relationship that doesn't mean doesn't mean that doesn't mean that need will go away. If your partner or you want alone time, that's not a sign that the relationship is bad. Finding balance between alone and together time is important. it is. I will say, yesterday I talked about being alone and how like hard it is and whatnot. But it's more of the fact of it's funny because I make these videos, and then I'll think of like, damn, I should have added this because it's like I'm not really like I should have added this or that because I don't want it to seem like it's like I'm coming off like this. But that didn't make any sense, by the way. But yeah, it's good to have that balance. Like some people, it's the fact that are better with some people are better when it comes to like some people are better when it comes to them being with like when they're with somebody, but other people are better when it's just like when they're on their own. Or they want to do stuff like they want to try something else to see if it works, but they don't want it to be with you because if it goes south, they don't want to lose you. Which is very hard, if I'm being honest, to see, the person you love going to be with someone else and everything. But at the same time, it's more or less I feel like it's something that they don't really say because they don't want it to be. I don't know. I don't really know why people don't really communicate as much as they should. It's definitely something that would help a lot if someone you just got a call. If you just got a call and they were just y'all were talking for like an hour, 2 hours, and they were pretty much talking about how they want everything to go and everything, just so it's like clear, so because it would be a lot easier if I'm being honest. Because like let's think about it like this: if someone called you and was like, "Hey, I want to be alone for like a couple of months, I want to just focus on me and everything," like it's the fact that like I know that I'm probably gonna like look at your social media a lot or do this or do that. So it's the fact that like I'm gonna block you, but it's not because I don't love you or like you or hate you or anything. It's just the fact that I want to focus on me. But it's the fact that like trust me, I will like I'll be back. We'll be back, of course. I just need time to like think of everything I want to do. I don't know about you, but to me that makes genuine sense. Because it's just like, okay, it's one of those things that comes with trust. That's just one of those things. I want to say I talked about it before with with I forget what it was. I don't know, but I want to say I've talked about it before. It was just like they were talking about how they just need time and how they need time and they need like all they ask is for me to like trust them because they know like what I'm going through and everything, and they just they just want to think. They just need time to think about everything, which is all well and good, of course, but it's just like I feel like being able to talk to someone, like being able to just like there's nothing wrong with wanting to think and everything, but it's more or less of like what is it that's bothering you. It's like what is it that you're scared of. It's one of those things where it's just like you're just saying you're thinking, but it's like what is it that you're thinking, because it makes the person believe that like they're scared of something, but it's like what is that something that they're scared of. But that was number 3. Got number 4. Your partner will not meet all your needs. They must meet they must meet your deal breaker needs and emotional physical safety needs, but all of the secondary needs of being a human can't be met by one person. That's why it's important to invest in friendships, hobbies, and an identity outside of your relationship. I kind of put this one on here, but it's one of those things where it's just like I will say pick your friendships. I will say, because there's a lot of friendships that are very snake like, in the sense of your friends will, like, if your friends are single, then if your friends are single, then basically think about it like this: don't be friends with someone that's like this. Basically, when they're like when they're dating somebody, they don't talk to like you or like your group of friends. But when they're single, they're talking to they're talking to you, and they're trying to get you to do stuff that you're that like maybe your boyfriend or girlfriend or whatever the case may be, like, doesn't want you to do, because they just don't feel comfortable with it. And that friend will basically try to manipulate you in saying that, like, oh, that person is controlling, or that person is toxic, or try to basically get in your head. Like, when it comes to that, like when it comes to friends like that, definitely stay away from them. If I'm being honest, that's obvious, but I would definitely say pick your friendships, just because there are women, and there are both women and men that do both of those things. It's like, if they're single, you're single. But it's like, if they're with somebody, they don't talk to anybody but their person. Same with hobbies, I will say. Hobbies are more or less just like drinking isn't a hobby. That's not going to the club isn't a hobby. like like I drink, but I don't even say that's a hobby, because it's not a hobby. Unless you're a fucking a wine taster or a whiskey taster or something, but like a genuine whiskey taster, not someone that's just like, oh, that's good. Let me get another like 2 shots of that. Like, you just drinking. That's about it. But it's someone that's actually that's like, going like through the steps of like actually trying to like is a connoisseur in the sense of like alcohol and whatnot. Not someone that just likes to drink. Like, that's not that's not it. But it's the fact of like, your partner won't meet all of your needs. You know, because there's a lot of needs that people have, and it's the fact that there are some that aren't said and there are some that are said. But it's the fact that the more you're together, the more you should be talking about like different needs that you know you have. Some people wait and just kind of wait it out to see how that person really acts and everything. Some people from the very beginning will say like, oh, these are my needs, which, at least from my understanding, I haven't really met anyone that needs was like fucking insane, if I'm being genuinely honest. But at the same time, I'm sure they're out there. I'm so very sure. Number 5. This might be a lot longer of a video. I don't know. It's might be 45 minutes at best. That's the goal I'm trying to at least get to. I want to be less than 35 if I can, but I don't know. But yeah. Number 5. You will have totally different opinions. You do not have to see eye to eye on every politically, social, or general issue. This doesn't mean you are not compatible or that you can't get along. A healthy difference of opinion will help both of you grow, as long as you are respectful towards each other. You're not going to agree on everything. That's basically all I can really say about it. You're really not going to agree. You might agree on everything in the beginning, but as your entire relationship goes, and if you get married and everything, it's like, there's at some point in time you're not going to agree on the same thing. And it's the fact of like, that's okay. You're not, that's a normal thing. Like, if there's something you have a different opinion on, whatever it is, that's completely fine. There's nothing horrible about that. That's just life. That's just how the cookie crumbles. But it's one of those things of just like, as long as you're not like disrespectful towards each other, you will be all right. Because it's the fact that when you both like call each other, or if when you meet up and you actually talk like face to face about a certain thing, or about whatever like whatever it is that you have different opinions on, is the fact of, well, I guess opinions, options, whatever the case may be. It's the fact that when you actually sit down or call each other and actually talk that out, it's the fact that you'll both be able to see like different ways you can do certain things. You see how certain people's like mind works with certain like things, with certain like opinions that they have on things and why they think that way. It's a completely normal thing, which is crazy because it's just like, oh, this person should always be right, or this person should always, you should always follow this person's opinion. But it's just like, just because it's a different opinion than theirs, explain why you think that way. And then the person that's listening, don't like completely, don't completely just like, oh, that's fucking stupid. Like explain both of your opinions on something, and then kind of come to like common ground. If I'm being honest, like come to an agreement on like something, depending on obviously depending on what it is, of course, because some things you just can't. Some things you can't really like come to understanding on. I don't really have an example. I need to write down examples of these when I'm done. Like when I'm done like writing, I need to come up with examples of these, just so that y'all have a genuine idea on like what I'm talking about. But yeah. Number 6, you will be bored. A long-term relationship will not always feel the excitement, drama, and romance. Being bored is not always a sign of dis of dis of disconnection. Cause I don't even know how to. I don't know. I be typing stuff, and I'm like, that sounds amazing, and then I go to say it, and I'm just like, damn, I can't say it. I can in my mind I can say it perfectly, but in actually saying it with words, nope. Which you would think would be the same thing, but whatever. But being bored is not always a sign of disconnection. It can be a sign of things being stable and working. Pay attention to how you feel in your relationship and talk about it. If it's an issue, then work on it. It's true. It's true. You will be bored. There are times where you will be bored. That's just how that is. That's literally how that is. It's like the first one. You won't always like your partner. Like it's basically the same. It's basically the same as that one. Like there are times where you will get bored. There will be. But it's the fact that I feel like when things get boring, I feel like that's when you should be thinking like that's when you're at peace. Like it should be a peaceful thing, because it's like, think about it. There's no drama, there's no yelling, there's no nothing. It's just like you both are on the same wavelength, and it's the fact that should be peaceful. Unless you're someone that is constantly looking for excitement, looking for drama, looking for romance, then you'll obviously have it'll be a problem for you. But it's the fact that that's how you should look at if you're like if you just think like, damn, I'm bored. It's the fact that should be a good thing. It really should be, because it's the fact that, think about it, there's no issues, there's no drama, there's nothing. But at the same time, it's one of those things where it's like there's no romance or anything. But it's like, okay, then start the romance yourself. Like come up with a date idea, or ask your partner to, hey, let's go to the movies, let's go to a park, let's go here, let's go there. It's the fact that it doesn't have to always be on your partner to basically. It won't always be on your partner to come up with something to do. It's the fact that you can also come up with other things to do. Literally. And I'm telling you, if you do it, if you are someone that doesn't usually come up with things to do with your partner, and you start to do it, I'm telling you, they will appreciate it so much more, because it's the fact that they always think like, oh, I have to, set up everything, but it's the fact that you set it up. They will appreciate it a lot because it's the fact that you took the initiative to actually do it because it's something that you wanted to do, and it's the fact that don't worry about if it's good or bad. It's like it's whatever. Like you're not. They're not hoping you get it perfectly right, or that goes for anybody. If you just try to set up something like a date or going to a park or going to the movies, or if you have a big list of things to do, it's something I tried to do. Where it's just like, oh, we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this, then we're gonna do this. But it's like, it's one of those things you have to remember that plans change. You know, like plans can change at any point in time. Plans can definitely change. Like, literally, plans plans that do not always go according to plan, like 100% of the time. And it's the fact that you have to remember that. You know, you can't just be like, oh, what is this? What is this? Because like something I've learned, well, it's not even something I learned, but something before it was just like I had all this stuff to do, and then plans changed, and then it was just like, damn, I couldn't do half the things I wanted to do. But it's like, is it more or less you wanted to complete all of the things you said you wanted to do, or was it like when it comes to plans, I feel like just basically just like go to simply start somewhere small, like go to a park, go get something to eat, you know, and from there you get something to eat, you talk, and then you kind of just take it one step at a time, like just like, oh, let's go. You want to go to Walmart to go and I don't know, like pick a random movie to watch later, or to make like bake cookies or brownies or something. Like take it one step at a time. Like, it shouldn't be like, oh, we should be doing this, we should be doing this and this, and then at this time we go do this, and this, that, and the other. Like, no. Start small and just kind of go. Because the fact that plans could change at any point. Like, it doesn't matter if you're in the middle of plans. Plans could still change. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Because life is just you can't predict. You can't predict life. Life is just so unpredictable. It's insane. But yeah, when it comes to, you will be bored, think about that. Don't think about it as a bad thing. Think of it as a good thing. Because it is. It's something that should be good. Because it's the fact that there's no issues, there's no problems, there's nothing. It's just, it should be peaceful. And it's okay to, communicate that with your partner and be like, I feel bored. It's just like, all right, let's go do something. Let's go swimming. Let's go to a park. Let's go to let's go to a gym. Let's go to the beach. Let's go, hiking, camping, whatever the case may be. Something as simple as literally just some people aren't like bored of like the relationship itself. Some people are just genuinely bored. And that's just how that is. Okay, number 7. You will find other people attractive. It's natural for people in relationships to find others attractive from time to time. In fact, it is human. What's important is having open conversations about what monogamy means to each partner and discussing what the lines and boundaries are. Remember, it may be different for different couples. This is true. You will find, if you're in a relationship, long term, mid-term, short-term, whatever the case may be, is the fact that you'll find people that you're attracted, like you will find other people attractive, of course, because keep in mind, like, everyone has a type that they find attractive. So it's the fact that you may have found your partner that you're with, just based off that type and description and everything, you might find them attractive, and then there could be another person that also fits that you also find attractive, because that's just your type. Like if you like blonde hair, blue eyes, if you like blonde hair, blue eyes, Like it's the fact of that's your type. So it's the fact that when you see someone that is that type, it's the fact that you find them attractive. You know, but it's one of those things where it's just like at that point it's more of a just more of a choice, and that's when you kind of with the whole talking, like having the open conversation about monogamy and everything. Which for those of you that fucking don't know what monogamy means, because keep in mind I didn't for a very long time. Fucking monogamy is the practice of state or of having a sexual relationship with only one partner at a time. You know, it's the fact that some people, it's the fact that some people are more like, oh, I'm not married to you, therefore, you know, this isn't cheating because we're not married and everything, which is kind of stupid if I'm being generally honest. But that's just them. That's just them. But it's definitely one of those things to have an open conversation. And like I said with the open conversations, like when someone is like open to you and everything, depending no matter what, it's like just listen to what they say. Don't, you know, get angry, don't blow a fuse, don't say this and that, because it's the fact that they're being open to you, you know? So it's the fact that if you blow up at them for being, open and honest with you, it's the fact that they're just not gonna ever, be open and honest with you ever again. Because it's just like when I'm open and honest about something and I come to you about it, other than just doing it behind your back, is the fact that you're getting like you blew a fuse, or you're yelling at me and telling me everything, you're calling me every name in the book and everything, you know. So it's just one of those things, like basically hearing them out and everything, because it's a normal thing. Like there will be people that you find attractive, obviously, because there's some people that are just naturally attractive, like that goes for both men and women. Like it's the fact that there are some men that are just naturally attractive, just because. There's some women that are just naturally attractive, just because. Like there's no rhyme or reason. It's just that's just how it is. But that was 7. Number 8, you will both change. Our bodies, habits, likes, and dislikes, and lifestyle change over time. You and your partner will go through emotional fluctuations. Your hobbies and interests will change. You can keep your bond strong by finding continuous overlaps between your changes and their changes. Yeah, you will, like, yeah, that's something that most people don't think. Most people think that they're going to be the same as they always are, you know? I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I can be bluntly honest. That's what I thought in the very beginning. In the very, very beginning of me and her, I thought I was going to be the same person I was when we met. And it's the fact that I can confidently say, I'm nothing like the person I was when we first met. She isn't either. Like, it's the fact that you both will change. It's something that does happen. It's the fact that you will always change, regardless. It's something that's just like, it's something you don't realize until you're actually like thinking about it. You're thinking about like the past, and you're just like, damn, I've changed a lot from who I was before. But it's the fact that it's not something that is a bad thing. It can be, but it's not something that's a bad thing or a good thing. It's the fact that it's something that it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. But it's the fact that it's more or less up to you on what it is that you're changing. But it's the fact that you both will change, of course. That's just how life works. That's how growing up works. And the last one, number 9. You won't love each other's families. You don't have to be besties with their siblings or parents, and vice versa. These relationships are what is that? I don't even know what that word even means, or what it even says. What the fuck? what the fuck? I don't even know what that word is. I don't know. Are not I don't even fucking know. And come with a lot of emotional inheritance. It is important to be respectful, warm, and caring without overstepping your own or their boundaries. You don't have to like your significant other's family. You really don't. You really don't. Like I literally know a buddy of mine that he hates her family and she hates his family. And it's something that you would never knew because when he goes to visit when they go to visit her family, he's respectful, he's this, he's that. When they go to his family, she's, respectful and everything. And it's the fact that you would never know. But it's one of those things where it's just like, and it's the fact that they're married. So it's just like, you don't have to love your family. Your family says that they know, like, because it's always the same, like, oh, I'm only doing, you know, I'm only doing this for you and everything. So then, this doesn't happen or this or that. But it's one of those things of like, who are you, who are you to dictate who, like, I am with? Because if your relationship has had problems and everything, and like their family doesn't like you, or her family doesn't like you, or his family doesn't like you because you've done all this and everything, it's more or less of the fact of like, well, my mistake that the relationship didn't kick off like perfectly, you know, is the fact of something that I don't know. It's something that people just never talk about a lot. It's something that I feel like most people are just like, yeah, their family, like his or her family just have to like you, and that's it. And then if they don't, you can't get married or anything. Like, it's the fact that it's not like that at all. It really isn't. Like, it's like, in a way, it's like, if you're a dude like me and everything, it's the fact that like the respectable way is to basically ask, their, like father or father figure, like if he can date, or he not date, if he can like marry, you know, his daughter and everything. Like, that's a respectable way to do it. But it's the fact that if y'all want to get married, you can. If you're both of age to get married, you can literally go to a courthouse, sign the papers, and now you're married. It's not that simple. It's not that simple, I will say. Like, it's simple, but it's not like, oh, you just go to the courthouse, sign some papers, that's it. You definitely have to like look it up and everything because it does cost like a fee and stuff like that. But it's the fact of it's not it's something that you can generally like. That's something you can generally do. Like, it's the fact that you can, like, her dad could just say no, and then y'all both could talk about it and being like, is this something that we want to do? And if it is, then it's just like, okay, then let's get married. Like, you don't have to have a big wedding, because that's what most people do for like weddings. Like, they have a big wedding and then they go to the courthouse to actually like sign, or like do all the paperwork and everything. Yeah, some people just sign the paperwork and then they have a party after. Some people just sign the paperwork and then that's it, and you would have never known they were married. Like, one of my friends, I didn't even know he was fucking married. Man never posted any picture. He was just married one day. I was just like, what the fuck? When did you get married? Like, I don't know. We went to sign the papers like this long ago. I was like, did you have a party or like a ceremony? He was like, no. I was like, what the fuck? Like, okay, I guess. But it's different for different people, I feel like. But yeah, that is all 9 of my reasons. I was trying to go for 10. I couldn't really think of anything else for 10. I really couldn't. I was just like, what are some things that people just don't like overly talk about, or stuff that's just like kind of like set in stone, but like shouldn't be set in stone because it's like it's not the law. But I don't know. That's more or less just how I feel about it. You can definitely in the comments, say like, oh, like number 8 or number 5, I don't really agree with. This is what I go with. Da 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 da. Like it's the fact that that's why I make these. That's why I don't turn off my comments, and I never will, because it's just like I want to hear feedback. Good, good, bad, mediocre, whatever the case may be. It's the fact that that's what I want. That's why that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in hearing feedback from everyone. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really got. I'm probably gonna make some um private ones of these. So like when they actually get set up and everything, they just post and that's it. I don't have to worry about them because it's yeah. I was trying to find one for so long and just couldn't. But also apologize for this being a lot longer than the other ones. This one's gonna be like 46, 47 minutes long compared to like the 30, the 30, the 35-minute ones, like 17, like 15 minutes, between 15 minutes and like 35 minutes. So I do apologize for that and everything, but this one definitely was a lot longer than the other ones. But yeah, if you have anything that you would like me to talk about, because it would definitely help a lot. And it could be whatever it is. It could be whatever you want to know. It could be stuff about me. It could be stuff just in life, in general, whatever the case may be. But definitely, put it in the comments. I'm sure I'll see it and everything. And yeah, I hope y'all are having a good weekend.